We know you're out there, come on inside. We've got the freshest sounds. You know we really tried. Live, live, live at the Hive, Hive, Hive. Key in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You're on.
Broadcasting live from Sargent City on the bench in Boise, Idaho. Welcome to Live at the Hive. Yeah. Great response time. Outstanding applause, everybody. Thanks for being here. And thanks for joining us when and wherever you are watching. So, we've got an outstanding show tonight. Right behind me, THESLIMEGOD300 is here. Yeah! Coming up a little bit later, REDIVIVA's here. Yeah! All right, thanks for joining. Boise Hive is a local musicians resource center. We're here to prevent suicide, save lives, and improve the mental health amongst the community. And we offer all kinds of services and programs and a great bunch of community members. So come check it out, look up our website, and we'll get to some interviews later. But right now, please help me welcome THESLIMEGOD300.
like techno raves. I would like techno raves.
We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
Hey, thank you guys so much for coming, and I really appreciate you guys coming out here and supporting me and REDIVIVA, I think. REDIVIVA, yeah, stay for REDIVIVA, and thank you guys so much for coming. And I want to shout out my friend Ellie Death Machine. I'm on her record label, and she really brings my dreams to life. So thank you guys very much.
Welcome back to Live at the Hive. Just finishing up with THESLIMEGOD300.
Yes.
And Wayne is here.
Hello, how are you?
Really well. That was an amazing set. Your thoughts after, stepping off stage?
I really appreciate that. My thoughts are I feel like I performed pretty well. I was practicing a lot for the show, so it really paid off when I practiced.
Yeah. Outstanding. It showed. What's your history been with, the Boise scene?
I've been performing at Realms Arcade for about 8 months, and this is my first time performing at the Hive, so I'm really excited about that, and it's been really fun.
Well, you look like you're having fun. Yeah. Okay, tell us about how different your set was tonight, and the inspiration behind how you do what you do.
Yeah, so I'm really inspired by a lot of old school rave music, or hardcore rave music too. Some harder beats and break beats as well, like jungle music. So I've been really into those styles of music, and the pioneers of those styles of music, or some of the newer ones, one good artist is Stasma the Jungle Christ. He's really good. Oh, yeah. And I'm really inspired by that type of music because it's really fast paced and it gets me going, dancing,
Yeah. Outstanding. Okay, fantastic. It's great to have new faces and new music and, those operating the machines.
Yeah. I also make music on my drum machine as well, and I hook it up to distortion pedals and bit crusher pedals and looper pedals. So I actually just released an album on Spotify.
You did? Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. I have a few other albums too posted, and I'm working on a new one as well.
Okay. What can you tell us about what you got coming in the new one?
The new one? Yeah. I actually played a new song for you tonight. It was unreleased.
Oh, we love hearing that. Which one was it? The third?
It was the fourth one, I think. It was kind of acid techno sounding.
I remember now.
Yeah. With the lasery bass.
Oh, gosh. How about that light and smoke show, huh?
I love the light and smoke show. Effects are my favorite part of, shows, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to all our volunteers that make our show look and sound amazing.
The volunteers here are so amazing.
Yeah. So what's your story behind what brought you here?
I actually came here for the first time with my friend Ellie Death Machine, like I said in the at the end of my show. And she brought me here to work on music, and we were messing around. We rented a room, and we were messing around and recording music. So that's my first introduction to the Hive. Oh. And then I also come to the sober support groups.
Oh, fantastic to hear that. It's good to know that our programs, that people show up and partake. How's it been for you?
It's been really good. I really like that style of talking,
Yeah.
because it's really it helps you get stuff off your chest.
Does it feel like it gives you a good avenue for expression?
Yes. So does music as well. I feel like music, I really express myself through.
Yeah. So what do you do to bring joy back if you're having a rough time?
I like to bring joy to myself. I usually either do things that I enjoy, like exercising. I like to skateboard a lot and snowboard. So those two things are really fun for me when I'm feeling sad. And I also like making music, obviously. But I also really like spending time with my family and my friends because it feels like I have a community and I'm not isolating as much.
Outstanding. Yes. Hey, that's what we preach here. Outstanding.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Hey, programs work here. So if you know somebody's struggling, send them on down, bring them in. Exactly. Tell them about it. Sometimes it takes, 4 to 7 times before a person figures it out. Yeah. But there's great, outstanding resources for those who need it. Those are struggling. If it's really bad, call or text 988 and bring them on down. There's counseling and low-cost rehearsal space. Glad you're using that too.
Yeah, it's really helpful for me. I've been really enjoying the groups so far. Like, I've never gone there and had a negative experience.
Outstanding. All right. You heard it here from Wayne with the Slime God 300. Okay, what's next for you?
What's next for me? I have a show coming up at Realms, probably on April 25th. Check the Realms Instagram, though they will post about it. It's realms.arcade, I think. But just search Realms and you'll see it. And I'm going to be doing a show with like a lot of other bands that you should definitely come see.
Outstanding. You know, Realms is a great place. A lot of locals do it. We're glad to have you here and provide that for, you know, artists such as yourself. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say thank you guys, and thank my... So this will be posted, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to thank you guys, Tanner, my parents, and everyone who just believes in me, and my friends.
Well said. I have nothing left to add. Where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at THESLIMEGOD300. It's all one word.
Fantastic. Wayne, the Slime God 300. Pleasure to have you. And please come back, and we'd love to have your face around here more often.
I definitely will. I've been looking into volunteering here as well, so I want to get into that.
Please do.
Yes.
You could be a help for the whole community.
Yeah.
You know, nothing but light here and great sound.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
I think they're both waves in a way.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back with... You remember?
Rediviva.
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 All right, we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to Live at the Hive, everybody. All right, without further need of any more introduction, please help me welcome REDIVIVA. REDIVIVA.
happy to be back.
Yeah.
This next song is actually the very first song that we ever worked on together, and it's been through a lot of iterations, and I hope you like where we landed with it.
Yeah, it started here too. Yeah.
It did indeed.
I'm not one to please anyone right way. Bones will start to break and hollow out. So wave goodbye as time runs out. Ships will crack and sink before too long on the right thing. I just need to breathe your every word, 'cause you speak a truth that needs me heard. That needs me heard. Needs me heard. Needs me heard. I'm not backing down from anyone on a Sunday. I've come back to town to get away, and I've fooled myself for 7 more days. But I made the big mistake of trusting you on a Sunday. It took me so much time to realize you're just a child who needs rebirth. Needs rebirth. Need rebirth. Need rebirth. Needs rebirth. Need rebirth. Needs rebirth. Need Thank you. Yeah, dude.
This is a shoegazer. A shoegazer. A shoegazer. Shoegazer. Whose shoes?
Prepare themselves to obstacles laid before you and grow. Yeah, stroll. And travel your own gait, 'cause it's all you know. Child, we're not done.
This next one's one of our favorite ones to play. Right after that one.
Sure. is our last one for you. I'll boo you. Matt wrote this next song, by the way. It's a Matt song. It's a good song. It's been donated.
It's about giving yourself a little grace in your own time of need.
tell us a little bit about what brings you to the Boise Hive, Matt.
Well, we got started here almost a year ago, coming up in May. And we're just a bunch of old friends that used to play in other bands together. And we were all taking a break for quite a while, and we decided to start playing music again. And that's kind of where the name comes from. REDIVIVA is the botanical name of an Idaho wildflower known as Lewisia rediviva. And it's known for regenerating from seemingly dead, dried out roots. And we're just a bunch of guys that were seemingly dead and dried out after over 10 years of not playing together. And we thought that was a fitting way to kind of start things off. So,
fantastic. Do you happen to know? Do you happen to know what season that it sprouts, blooms, perhaps?
Yeah, one of the best places to catch it, actually, in Idaho is out at Craters of the Moon National Monument Preserve, about the 3rd week of June. It's blowing up out there.
All right, go check it out. Connect with nature. All right, Andrew, tell us a little bit about, the set tonight and what, provided a little inspiration or direction.
Sure. We've been collaborating together for a while now, and these guys have been putting the stuff that we put together, and I get the privilege of playing drums with these guys, and it's honestly been awesome. And Adam and I have been playing music together since he was 15 years old, off and on. So we go way back, and I've had the opportunity to work with Matt now recently, and it's been a lot of fun. And all of our songs have some sort of symbolism within our band, and it's just been a lot of fun putting stuff together, if that helps.
It's good to have an honest answer. Yeah, they love it. All right. I forgot your name that fast.
Adam.
Well, it's been a while, Adam. Yeah. All right. Tell us what drives you musically.
You know what? I don't really know. None of us do, man. Like, if you're a musician, there's that burn, there's that fire. You've got it. You don't know where it came from. Dude, I'm a singer and I'm not even like talking into the mic. What the hell? But yeah, so Andy and I, like he said, we've played together, starting years and years and years ago. Matt and I had the privilege of playing together in the Universal, which was another local Boise band. Matt actually introduced me to my wife, so we have a really close bond. So I remember I think I was like 14, 15 years old. Andy walked up to me, we ran into each other. What were we at? We were at some event, a concert or something. He's like, hey, we should play music together. And we started playing music together. And honestly, I've played with some really great drummers throughout my career, and Andy has always been my first choice. So that's huge. It's huge, And the fact that, we all took quite some time off from playing music, and it was the saddest, most depressing time of my life. So this is badass. Thank you all for coming. I love you guys. We love you guys. You're beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, so things are better now, yeah? Reconnecting to music is in a nutshell?
Yeah.
Oh, God, what a great message, and thank you for sharing. And, that brings us to why we're here, why all of us volunteers and everybody does this, and why you come, not only for the music, but, the mental health, suicide prevention.
Thank you, Hive, for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Hive, for being here. Everybody that comes. We got a lot of support.
Thank you, Digital Vomit, for opening. That was something else, man. That was pretty cool.
Yes. The Slime God 300. Yeah. All right. Let's talk just a little bit more about mental health, suicide prevention, and, what brings joy into your life musically. How do you use music to bring joy into your life?
Music has always been a part of my life. I mean, I've been to concerts, and I love Treefort. I love that Boise has really grown a really cool music scene here, and there's been so much that's come out of that, and it's been so fun to be a part of that. And I don't know, I've always enjoyed playing music, and it's always been a part of my life, and I enjoy all the stuff that comes along with it. I have a couple of friends that have been here since, I've known them since high school, and they probably watched my first band play at high school at some sort of weird dance or something, but it's pretty cool to see old friends, and yeah.
You've come a long way since you first started, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Last words on mental health, whatever works for you.
One of the reasons I decided to start playing music again, talking to my therapist, actually, I realized I didn't have a real good outlet, and that's when I just started to branch out to these guys and play music again. And ever since I have, it's kind of like, been a very healing thing for me to just get this out. I recommend it for everyone to at least try.
Perfect. Yeah. That's what we need to hear. Well, that's what everybody needs to hear. If you know somebody's struggling, bring them down here. There's a great community full of amazing people. Look at them. Look at all the faces in there. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah. So, if it's urgent, call or text 988. And we have, what's our email address? thrive@boisehive.org. And we'll leave it at that. You guys said enough, said it all.
Thank you, everybody.
Where can they find you?
So you can find us on any of the social media streamings, and we also have music on Spotify, Apple Music, all of the streaming networks. If you want to listen to stuff, we've got a few shows coming up. We're going to be playing at the arcade, the Realms Arcade, I guess is what it's called, on the 25th, and then we've got a couple other shows in the works. So stay tuned to our social media. We'll be around.
REDIVIVA. See you next time.